Hello, you're welcome. It gives me great joy to observe you viewing this content today. I am Dr. Olayinka Akanle. I am a lecturer in the university. I'm a researcher. I'm a public speaker. I'm an author. On this channel, I do a number of stuff, but all these stuffs I do, you can easily cluster them into four: sociology, research, relationship, and migration. I do this as regularly as possible to add value to you, my viewers, and my subscribers. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Kindly go ahead and subscribe. You've got nothing to lose, but you have a lot to benefit. If you have subscribed previously, thank you very much for staying tuned. Please tell others and share. Today, I want to address a very important topic in context of research: concept note. Concept note is a very important component of research, whether as professional engagement, academic engagement, scholarly engagement, or humanitarian engagement. Usually people or organizations, even supervisors, I do regularly, request concept note before full proposal. Because proposals sometimes can be very bulky. So what I discovered that each time I ask my students or some organizations to submit concept note, they simply look at me and say, what do you mean? I've taken my time to explain, so I decided to make this content to build capacity in that area. Concept note. What is a concept note? Concept note simply means a very short expression of an idea or ideas. Short, succinct expression of an idea or a body of ideas. You have these ideas you want to test, but you want to say it in a succinct way, smart, brief way, so that people can understand your way of thinking before they request full proposal. Whether in academic setting, scholarly setting, professional setting, non-governmental organization, or civil society, or even private sector. Before you bother anybody with full proposal that will run into pages of issues, they simply say, can we have a concept note? So a concept note is a document that expresses ideas about a particular situation, product and services, to clients or funders or donors or supervisors or different people. So that is what concept note is. It's abridged, usually between 1 to 4 pages. 1 to 4 pages. While you might have a proposal running into tens of pages, 20, 30 pages. But a concept note will expect you to bring the idea or ideas together in a very short, smart, succinct way. It's not more than 4 pages. So I usually tell people also, for me, a concept note is an abridged proposal. That's the way I usually describe it. A concept note is an abridged proposal presented in a very small, short and smart way. So we can say, wow, this idea is very good. Can we have a full proposal? To look at it in a more critical way. And sometimes if you are a scholar, if you want to apply for funding, sometimes they tell you to submit expression of interest or a concept note. They are not entirely the same. They can tell you expression of interest or concept note or both. But in this case, concept note is what is of interest to me in this video, which means it's an abridged, compressed proposal, but a document to express ideas to clients or funders or donors or supervisors. So, primary purpose of a concept note is to provoke invitation for proposal. Don't forget, is to provoke invitation to submit full proposal for funding or supervision. You want to sound urgent. You want to raise attention that this issue I want to propose is of utmost importance and very urgent. If you don't address it, there will be crisis, there will be problems. You want to raise an alarm in concept note. You want to sound urgent. You want to sound a note that this issue is important, deserves attention. So that's the essence of a concept, to provoke interest so that they can invite full proposal. Many works, many issues stop at the level of concept note. If you don't write it well, they simply will not get back to you, or they simply reject the concept note and say, we are sorry, we are not interested. So you want to provoke interest to galvanize attention towards a way of thinking. So now, to gain attention, to start discussion in a proposal form, it saves your time and resources. It's faster to read. So concept note is faster to read than a full proposal, and it saves time and resources. Instead of you wasting time, wasting resources, wasting energy and intellect, concept, and then you are rejected. So concept note will save your time to provide necessary information in a smart way to gain attention and to start a discussion. So you have to raise key points why the issue you want to address is important in your concept note. Now, what are the contents of a concept note? Meanwhile, it's very important for me to let you know that why concept note in practice or professional setting might be a little different from an academic or scholarly setting, but they're essentially the same. But sometimes you may want to vary what is important and what is not important, depending on whether it's an academic concept note or it's a professional concept note that you want to use in practice. But essentially speaking, I think, let me just address it this way and say, if you're writing a concept note for your supervisor in the university, anywhere, ask you to bring a concept note in an academic setting, we expect that your concept note, in terms of contents, your concept note will have a cover page, which will tell you your title of your work, or the topic of your work, or its title, depending on which one you prefer, and your contact details. Basically. Then, after your title, after the cover page, which will carry your title, we should have like an introduction. Brief, don't forget, it should not be more than between 1 to 4 pages, because it's a concept note. We want to understand the concepts you want to work with, the concepts you want to propose. So it should be, everything, all the sections must be very abridged. That means you then have to be intentional and deliberate to put what is important, to major in the major. It's not a place to begin to dangle and begin to move here and there. Introduction. Your statement of problem must be there. Your objectives must be there. Your research questions must be there. Importantly, your justification or rationale. I have videos on all these areas I'm mentioning. Then you have your literature review. That means cogent literature in very smart, abridged way, outlined and briefly, very important ones. Then the theoretical framework, the theories you want to use, just in maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs. Then your methodology. How will you address this issue? Okay, if this issue is very important, it's very urgent, what methodology will you use? I have videos on methodology on this channel. Look at them. Then your list of references. You have to be careful here, because sometimes we just go to your list of references. If it's an area we are familiar, we want to see some certain citations on your list of references, certain works. So if these are not there, we simply conclude that you're not familiar with that area. You're just wasting time. You can't fund you that you don't know the latest argument, the latest work in that area. So that you have to be careful of the references you use. So that's why I say, if you look at it, your proposal will also have this component. Eventually, if you are invited to submit proposal, this component will be there. But we want to see them in an abridged version. So if it's not an academic concept note, if it's just from NGOs or CSOs or companies, or like we say in private sector, elevator pitch. What you want to pitch is what you just want to put together in this very elevator pitch. Just means a very sharp, important concept you want to throw, you want to use. So we just want you to put it. So we want to put it down. So in an NGO or practice concept note, you may only need a cover page, which will have the concept you are addressing, the title, then the details of the organization, then the project summary. What's the summary of the project in a very sharp, professional way, and why do you think this concept, this project will be very important? Why will it matter? So you want to show it in that place, and you have call to action. This call to action will be like the urgency you want to raise, the urgency you want to push. So these are very important things we want to see in a practice or in a professional concept note. You have your cover page that will show your organizational details, the topic or title of the issue, then the project summary. What's the summary of the issue in a very sharp, smart way? And why do you think it matters as a project or an issue? Then call to action. Why are you calling us to action? Why should we be interested in all this? So this is very important that you want to note that in this. But that's not to say that if you have a research-based organization like NGO and CSO, that's not to say that you cannot use the first format in the academic. It depends on what you are applying for. So if you're working, the first content I mentioned can still be used in NGO or professional or CSO or private sector. And this one, the second content I mentioned, can also still be used in the academic. I'm only giving you the nuances of how you want to approach it in a smart way. And your concept note must be smart in a way. Then keep on to note when you are writing a concept note, use language of donors. If you are writing for funding, use donors have their own language and concept that will galvanize their interest. And if it's academic or scholarly, use scholarly concepts, scholarly terms in the area. Then sound urgent. Urgency is very important. Sound important. Let the importance of your issue be very obvious. And use simple language. And you are using the concept of the donors or scholarship, then still try as much as possible to be simple. Don't be verbose. Be understandable. Be easily understood. And submit before deadline. Make sure you submit before deadline. Be clear. And I'm enjoying myself the way I'm mentioning this. I hope you also enjoyed this video. Until I see you in my next video, kindly subscribe to this channel and tell others. It's very important. You will benefit a lot. Bye for now.